means
Go ahead.
yeah.
You're on.
I want to call to order the Safety, Health, and Service Committee. Mike Walker is not here, Brian's here, Chris is here. The issue is an ordinance, and actually it's an idea, it comes out of the fire department. It involves false alarms. And the root of the false alarm thing is the Hampton Inn. Over the last year, Hampton Inn has probably had 18 false alarms. We have an existing ordinance which says you do not pay anything for the first three, then you pay $100 for the fourth, $150 for the fifth, $200 for the sixth, $300 for the seventh, and so forth. And they think we ought to, the proposal from the fire department maybe raise it 50. The more I looked at it, I think that's not enough. Answering a false alarm costs the city around $200-300, depending on how many people are at the department at the time, how many people they have to call in, what trucks they send out, all this kind of stuff. The root of the deal at the Hampton is, it's been sold recently, or fairly recently. They've got an HVA system on the top, on the roof, and if you take a real steamy shower in one of the rooms, you set off the fire alarm. They know they've got a problem, they just do not care to hire somebody to come in and fix it. They'd rather pay us $100 than $1,000 to, whatever. And I don't even know when they're getting fined, are they paying the bills?
They are, they've gotten $1,100 worth of fees, they've paid.
Have they paid them?
They've paid, $300, and then I talked to the owner, and a check for $800 is on the way, he said.
Okay. I'm thinking, two things I think we ought to do. Number one is I think we should, Marvin's written an ordinance, but I think we ought to ask him to, actually, they're proposing, we up at $50. I think we ought to double it. At least come close to covering our costs. Second thing we ought to do, I think we ought to ask our safety director to go down there and tell them, we're gonna also hit you with a nuisance citation and shut this place down if you don't knock this off. Make them spend some money, fix their fire alarm. There is concern that we don't want to hassle the legitimate motel operations or anybody else. One of the hotels down here, they're cooking in there, right?
No, that's all been taken care of through the fire.
No, but what I mean is, the tenants of these people that are staying at these hotels might legitimately set these alarms off. They might be smoking near the smoke detector. They might be smoking in his room and burn something. I don't want to punish the hotels for having a tenant who makes a mistake. And so I think the first three is a pass. I think we should continue to do that. But I think on the fourth, to go to 100, the proposal, I think, from you guys to go to 150. It's 100 now. I think we ought to go to 200, and then the second pass, it goes to 300, and then the second pass, and double the proposal that Marvin and the fire department put together. So you're up to the 200, on the sixth offense, you'd be paying $400. And we've come close to covering our cost, which sounds to me to be very reasonable, I think they think it's cheaper to just pay the fine, and if it happens, it happens. Rather than hire in, plumbers and those people are expensive now, probably $1,000 or something in plumbers. So, do you have anything else?
I got some information I'd like to share, if that's
Sure.
okay.
Go right ahead.
I think it's important, by the way, my name's Captain Schultz from the fire department. I'm the fire inspector. In order to make a decision on this, I think it's important to kind of look at where we're at, where we're going. We have 108 fire alarm systems inside the city. These 108 systems monitor everything from duct detectors, smoke detectors, heat detectors, and the flow alarms on sprinkler systems. Whenever we started taking care of these false alarms, we averaged 300 false alarms a year. Now, those 300 false alarms took our truck out of service, took our guys out of service. Our guys were already pretty busy, and this was just more calls that were kind of wearing them down. So our approach was the alarm ordinance, and with the alarm ordinance, I felt that it was also important to help these businesses solve their problem, because a lot of them don't have any idea where to even start fixing these systems, because some of them are complicated. So of these 108 systems, we had 300 false alarms a year. I've gotten that down to about 35 false alarms a year. So we've had nearly about 85 to 90% reduction. Before we dealt with the current problem, we only had one business kind of go against the grain and refuse to fix anything. I gave them one fine of it was a fee actually, one fee of $100, and they had it fixed within the next week. Now, when we do these 3 false alarms, I don't go in on the 4th false alarm all the time and hit them with fees. As long as they are actively participating with solving the problem, fixing it, getting the right contractors in, I work with them as much as I can. And we've been extremely effective, because all these businesses want the problem fixed. Their customers are mad. Their customers don't want to hear this alarm going off. Their desk people are just getting irritated because the customers are coming down complaining. And they've all been helpful. They've all fixed their problems. In this situation, we had where I was working with them. I thought they were helping, and then we ran across toward fall of last year. We found the sprinkler system was shut off, and the fire alarm system was on silent, and they just more or less told the alarm company not to send it out anymore. Here they had a leaky sprinkler system 4 months before, and their way of handling it was just to shut it off. And then when it triggered the fire alarm, they just put it on silent and stopped sending alarms out. At that point, I realized they were no longer working with us. So I started hitting with fees. And each time we went, we gave them more fees and more fees. I found a note on their alarm system saying that if a false alarm originated from there, they would immediately cancel us, then go find out if it was real. And that was what the note said. So I talked to the staff, let them know that that was wrong. The staff was all on board with doing the right thing, but we're having a hard time with ownership more or less following direction to correct the problem. So at this point, if they're not correcting the problem, and this is just literally going to be the second business we've given fees to, and we're $1,100 into fees so far, and I don't see it getting fixed. We need to do something that's a little bit more heavy to be sure he's managing the situation. So I guess I just want to impress upon you, we're not going out and trying to hurt businesses. We're business friendly. We're working with them as much as possible. But those that are just deliberately ignoring us, we've got to get them on board with fixing the situation. So that's all I want to
Thank
let you know.
So my proposal for the committee is, the fire department in Marvin did come up with an idea of doing a schedule of $150. You got it in your emails, I think, $150 for the first offense, $200 for the, $150 for the 4th, $200 for the 5th, and that's up $50. And what I think we should just do is double it from where it was before, which would come to $200 for the 4th offense and $300 and so forth. And I think we should ask our safety director to go down and make a call and talk to them about the idea we could shut them down with a nuisance violation. Maybe we get their attention. You know, I don't think it's the idea is to punish, and that idea to make money off anybody. It's just to solve a problem. Anybody on the committee say anything? Brian?
So,
Chris?
if this is the place that Mr. Similik mentioned, I think they just remodeled. Didn't they just do a remodel
Yes.
at that place?
Yes.
So they spent money to remodel, put new doors and floors in, but they didn't update the fire alarms. So I mean, to me, that's like it's one thing if you're struggling to make it as a business and you don't have the funds to, you know,
And
you're
there's
just
been
barely.
many excuses for the false alarms. One of them was the remodel. The same contractor that remodeled them went over to Holiday Inn and remodeled the Holiday Inn. That originated 2 false alarms at the Holiday Inn in the same time period. They had 15 there. So
Yeah.
it's not.
I guess that was
I don't
one of
think
my other.
we don't have their attention, you know.
Right, that
With
was
the-
my other question was, so on average from the other local hotels that we're responsible for, like, what is the average of false alarms for
That's a
them?
great question. In a time period, we have 7 hotels. We had 15 false alarms there at the Hampton Inn. And then the other hotels combined, we had 4 combined in that same time
Right.
period out of 6 other
Yeah,
hotels.
So I don't think we're, you know, it seems like a legitimate issue.
so I guess again, to your point about how much money they owe us, do we think that by increasing this of a nominal amount is gonna force change, or does there need to be something?
It's gonna be another tool.
Okay.
I am also working in the fire marshal's office. The state holds their license to operate, and they come in with the fire marshal. They come in once a year, and then every time I kind of get to where I'm at a stopping point, they're not really working, I call in a local fire marshal, and we've been there multiple times, and then he forces a lot of the fire code on, and it's helpful, but we can have more of effect locally, and they admit that too. Locally, our local ordinances can really help a lot. So it's just gonna be an additional tool. A nuisance ordinance that has been suggested can be used in a situation. We did use this on another hotel that was having a lot of crime and drugs, and it was very effective there. Something we could perhaps consider too.
Does the,
Which I think maybe our safety director probably carries the firepower to make that. I don't think the $50
Can I
or $100 is gonna make
Real
any
quick
big
question.
difference, but,
does, if their insurance company knew that they shut the sprinkler, the fire alarm system off, like I can't imagine they would remain insured. So, I don't know if the city has the power to go to their insurance company as a
I don't
method
know if
of,
we would know how.
change.
I
but-
don't know.
but,
So it is possible that someone could be working with you and trying to do everything right and get to a force offense in a year
Yes.
or a fifth, and you still have the power to waive that if you feel like it wasn't
And I have.
appropriate,
I
yeah.
have. This, when they started giving fees, we were at the 10th alarm when I started giving them fees, because they were working with us. And then I found the sprinkler system shut off, I found the note on the board, and that was enough. There's been other businesses that have had 4 alarms, 5 alarms, but they were actively trying hard to fix it, that I didn't give them a fee. I just worked with them, and we solved the situation.
That's what I wanna make sure before we
Yeah.
talk about raising it for a fourth or fifth, cause we always wanna be business friendly,
Yeah,
if
if
they're
they're-
friendly to us,
They're
so.
working with us and they're trying hard, and I see an effort, I work with them. I don't really go after them with fees right off the bat. But when we get to that point of non-compliance, another business I had an issue with, there was an owner, it was a manager, that was in Boca Raton, Florida, and she was nice as can be, and at the one point where I kind of pressed her, she had to fix it, she kind of flipped and started being pretty abrasive. And she all but said she wasn't gonna manage the situation, and I immediately wrote her a fee, sent it to her, and she immediately the next week had all of the contractors there to take care of the sprinkler system that was causing the problems. And she only took one fee with her, $100 fee, and the problem was solved. This one, I mean, I quoted $1,100 of fees, and I still don't see it getting fixed. The current situation has been causing an alarm go off in the last couple times, has to do with a vent that goes into the bathrooms. It's got a motor, it's kind of like an HVAC system on the roof, and I believe that every time we have a power outage, it's flipping a breaker. Something needs managed, whether it's through the HVAC company contractor or an electrical contractor, probably needs to manage that, pull the steam out of those rooms when someone's taking a shower. Because all the other hotels have people taking showers. It's not tripping their alarms. So I believe that's a system that's giving them issues now, and they're not correct.
So do we need to, it's 6:45, do we need to, do you wanna take a motion Make a motion to.
Well, we gotta
vote
talk
on
on-
this issue.
We still got the money, cause you're proposing we change this.
I'm proposing the existing for the fourth offense, Marvin proposed 150, I say we
You're
double
proposing
it to
200.
200.
Okay.
And the fifth offense, it's $150 currently, Marvin proposed 2, I said we go to 3.
All right.
And double the previous offenses.
And
So then-
might I add, correcting some language and definitions also. There was a language about the definition of a year. In the main part of the ordinance, it says more or less in a year period, so 12 months, and then down in the definitions, it says calendar year. Let's correct that, just so it's
It's 1 year period.
1 year period, not calendar year.
That's what's in the ordinance we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but down in definitions, it says calendar year.
No, we wanted it a 1 year period.
Yeah, yes.
Yep. So,
Tom, you can always hold this to another meeting and get another ordinance
or we
written
can
up.
pass this with those changes, and Marvin could bring it to the next one for the first reading, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's the pleasure of the committee?
I just wanna clarify, you're changing it to $200 for the fourth offense, $300 for the fifth offense, $400 for a sixth offense,
Yes,
and then, do we even need to have a seventh and eighth? Can't we just do sevenths and over?
they're up to 18 right now.
Well, that's what I mean, but we have a seventh offense and an eighth and all, so why don't we just get rid of that and make the
300.
seventh the last one?
It has been 300 for the seventh offense, and it was $450
We need to,
for
yeah,
the eighth offense.
just bring it back next meeting.
Can I weigh in on a comment here? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to wait till comments or,
Go right ahead.
We need to go, we went over.
okay? I certainly have an opinion on this. I certainly will meet with the Hampton Inn. I would like to see a little different tactical approach. I agree with you. I think we need to stiffen it. I think we've given, I think the ordinance allows more than ample opportunities, especially since we have a program in place that investigates and determines truly whether it was a faulty system or an error. And so I would support looking at a higher financial penalty, and I would also support potentially not adding an eighth offense. I think 7 for 1 year is more than enough. So I'd like ample time to discuss that as a potential revisit.
We can get Marvin, I'll work with Marvin. We'll look.
Okay.
Next meeting.
Next council meeting?
Next meeting.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right, go ahead.
All right, it's now 6:48. We'll be calling the Public Works and Economics Committee to order. Mrs. Ramos, Mr. Rippeth, and my alternates, Mr. Simlick. We have 4 resolutions we're gonna discuss tonight. They're pretty much just housekeeping, cleanup, stuff that we do every year. I'm gonna turn this over for Resolution 10 to the Service Director, Mr. McAbear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's the CHIP program, which we run through every year. And for some of you that's been here, it's always a program that we run with Yorksville. And so this year, it's an amount of $650,000, which $350,000 for the city of New Philadelphia and $300,000 for the city of Yorksville. The rate of the funds will be broken down. Rehabilitation assistance, owner rehab, $377,000. Repair assistance, owner home repair, $195,000. And then you have the administrative of the fair housing, which is $78,000, which goes to Ohio Regional Development Corporation, which we've been with for, I don't know, probably the last 4 to 5 years. Also on that, they did have, their first public hearing was April 18th here in council chambers. And next Monday, they will be having another one at 10 a.m. for everybody to get out there in front of the folks. If this sounds like a program that they could benefit from, I urge you to let them know that. Again, next Monday at 10 a.m. will be the second one. The first one again was April 18th. But Anything else on that or any questions?
No, Mr. Backabear, this is something you want passed tonight this evening, so we can get.
Yes, if we could, yes.
Okay. Is there any action from committee on resolution 10? Proposed resolution 10?
I move that we put resolution 10, 2025 on the agenda tonight.
Ask for passage on the first reading. Do I have a second?
I would second that.
Second, Mr. Rippeth, and we'll take a vote. Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Rippeth?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes also. The next one is Resolution 11, which has to do with the ODNR Nature Works grant. And I'm also going to turn this over to Mr. McAbear, our service director.
Okay, if, these grants are typically a 75-25, but if you look at the, email that went out on the allocation for, the city of Philly is just, almost 29,452 is what we get. So that is not the 25%. So if you look at the breakdown on that sheet that I had sent, local share, which should have been 13,530, will actually be 24,668, to break that down, an increase of $11,000. And like years past, there's a couple other grants that we can go out through and try to get, that we'll be trying to get that $11,000 shortfall, or just the other bit that could be ours. Oddly enough, that is, when you see that 29,452, that's all that's allotted for the whole county. But, I guess like Dan, Cheryl was here before, we did receive it one time, we did the, skate park, we did some rehab down there. So we was successful in getting the whole amount before, and we hope that that happens again. When they do that, they typically give you the whole amount. I know a couple of surrounding cities that, for that amount, they are not putting anything in, so I hope that increases our chances. Because I talked with them, in the last couple of weeks, and they will not be putting one in because of, the allocations. It was as low as, the last time we got it for the skate park, it was just under 23,000, but we were successful. We hope we are on this one also. And, did everybody get that sheet of the breakdown of the
Yes.
shelter and everything? Yeah, so there, that's the breakdown, and then everything there, I think, as far as the 75%, as you see, we're only gonna get 29,452, which makes up at 11,158 more than what we would've had if it was 75-25. Unfortunately, that's all the money they allocated for the whole county, but we will be asking for that.
And this is another thing you'll be asking to get passed this evening also.
If we could.
If we could. Go ahead, Mrs. Ramos.
So this Nature Works is for the pavilion?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions from the committee? Anybody on council? Seeing none, is there any action to be taken on proposed resolution 11?
Yeah, I move that we put it on for passage tonight.
Thank you. And then we have
Second.
second, Mrs. Ramos. We'll take a vote. Mr. Ribbit?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
I'll vote yes also. All right, the next one we have on our agenda is proposed resolution 12, which is a real estate donation.
Yes.
And I'm gonna turn that over to Mr. Backerberry.
Sure. I had sent that out late today. Did everybody get that where that parcel kind of lays?
Yeah.
So we all know what we're talking about there. And, what that is if you looked at that parcel, I guess if you want to say west of there, north, whatever, we have that's all city property. And, we'll just take it over. We would have no taxes on it just because it's really little to no maintenance, but just in case, we could ever expand anything over there with the ramp and everything, that's why we thought, I think the price was right, and then to have both those sides like that, maybe there's maybe someday there's a little pavilion over there or something for canoers or kayak, but thought the time was right, they wanted to give it to us for the right price, and we thought, why not? So.
Definitely sounds like the right price.
Yeah, it's the right price, and like I said, there will be no taxes on it because we're exempt from that, there's nothing on that type of thing.
And this is another thing you need to get passed this evening?
Well,
Or you
I
would
didn't
like
know
to?
that, but I guess she's been jingling the
Yeah.
mayor, so I'll let him answer that.
I've gotten a call from the executor of the estate.
Okay,
and she would like to have it over and done with ASAP.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Is there any questions from committee?
No.
Any from the council? Seeing none, do we have any action to be taken on proposed resolution 12?
I move that we add resolution 12, 2025 to tonight's agenda.
Okay, we have a second, Mr. Ribbit, and we'll take a vote. Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes also. All right, we got one more tonight. It's proposed resolution 15. It has to do with the HUD, and this is the one I'm gonna, the historical, I'm gonna turn this over to the mayor. He can give us the
Well,
details.
this is a piece of housekeeping legislation to renew our programmatic, yeah,
I
agreements.
will let you say that word.
And I have a question for the law director. Where did you get the information for this?
Who sent it to me? I think Jamie sent it to me.
Because this is the first I've seen this.
Oh, Jamie sent it to me and said it probably
Jamie
didn't need.
did?
Yeah, probably didn't need to get done, or she said, I know this is probably too late. I think I got it on Thursday to get it on Monday's agenda. I was actually able to get it done.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, if you just hold this in your committee.
Just hold this for the
Yeah.
next, okay?
Yeah, until I get some more information from Jamie.
All
on
right,
it.
will do.
So I can give you a more educated explanation.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, well, seeing, do we have anything else to come before committee? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Thank you, Mr. Rippeth, at 6:56.
You did real good.
Okay,
Hey, we're starting.
ready?
Tom,
Ready.
Tom.
I'm calling the Zoning and Annexation Committee together to order. The people on the committee are myself, Cheryl Ramos, Dan Lanzer, and Steve Rippeth, and alternate Mike Walker, who is absent tonight. So the purpose of this meeting is to consider the following. I have two items. Proposed Resolution 13-2025. It's a resolution for municipal services to be provided to parcel number 25-00174.000 and Resolution 2025 to annex into the city the said parcel owned by Elmer and Anna McClave and zone it R2. And, so committee and council have all received documents, probably multiple times pertaining to this annexation and the municipal services. The annexation request was approved by the Planning Commission at the January 2025 meeting. And Marvin, I had some questions for you. And please note, I wanted to let you know that the attorney involved in representing the McClays will not be attending the meeting tonight since it's not a contested annexation. And Marvin, I just wanted to know, in the preamble to the Resolution 13-2025 and Resolution 1-2025, there's an extra 0 in the parcel number.
Gotta fix that.
Okay. So I have my copies here. It's 25-00174 dash point 0.
Which one has the extra 0?
Both resolutions in the preamble,
Okay.
the first sentence.
Yeah, if you wanna mark those up and give them to me, I'll fix it.
Okay, you can take these. Okay, and I wanted to ask you too, the annexation, is that supposed to be a resolution or an ordinance?
The ones I've done in the past were resolutions, I believe. Because we're just approving it. We're not, it's not a law that we're passing. Ordinances are usually reserved if we're changing
Okay.
the law.
So we're good. I know in the past we've had some be ordinances. Okay, so on to number 1. Proposed Resolution 13-2025, a resolution for municipal services to be provided to parcel number 25-00174.000. And everybody's received a copy of your letter. Mr. McAfee, would you like to just explain
Sure.
what that means?
Sure, thanks, Mr. Chairman, or Mrs. Chairman. As you see on the paper, that I had to write out for, the annexation process, just explaining myself the service that we will provide, and the address of which we will provide it for. Right now, it's only water. As you know, those systems are on a septic. I imagine before our time, they will probably hook up to our sewer system also, especially once the annexation process, takes place. It may not be this year, maybe 5 years, but maybe 10 years. I've been on septic and mine's fouled, so it will be coming, just like their water has done. They was down to less than 20 gallons a day until they hooked up to our city water. And they couldn't be more pleased or happy. It's been easy to work with. But again, all that's spelling out right there is what we are providing for them at this time, just water service and water service only.
Okay, and in section 1, it says, not limited to water and sewer services, they also would have police and fire protection, et cetera,
Sure.
that everybody else gets.
Sure.
that's
Yep.
in the city. Okay, any, questions, comments from, I did have a question, Mr. McAveer. According to my notes, they had already started that, or
As far as started what?
contract with Bridges to start,
Oh, it's already hooked up.
already hooked
Yep,
up,
we've already
okay.
hooked them up.
That's what I thought.
Yep, yep.
Okay, and we have to have this for the Ohio Revised Code?
Yeah, I
Go
just want
ahead.
to clarify that. We are required to do this by the Ohio Revised Code. It's supposed to be done between the time, it's between the time that the county receives it and before they act on it. They turned this around really quick once they
Yeah, they
received
did.
it. And so
Unusual.
I decided we should do
Thank-
it just because it's mandated by the Ohio Revised Code, and so that nobody can go back and say, we didn't do it. But that was unusual. There's normally a lag between there that allows us time to do this.
And when I talked to you earlier today, you had felt that we probably should pass this on first reading tonight, the municipal services agreement
Yeah, I don't
resolution?
know why we couldn't pass both of them.
Yeah, they're
'cause
already
everybody
hooked
said-
up.
Miss Chair, yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, Cheryl, right? If
Everybody
it's already
signed off on
there,
everything.
this would be the least of our worries. I mean, we're billing them in the whole shot, so
Okay,
I would say yes.
okay, so, any questions from the committee? Administration,
Nope, thank you.
Nope, thank you.
council, public? Okay, do I have a motion?
I have a motion to add proposed resolution 13 to tonight's agenda and ask for suspension of the rules.
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, next item. Yeah, what? Oh, we got it, sorry, I always forget that. Okay. Dan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, yes, motion passed. Thank you. Now, next item. Okay, this is the annexation of the parcel. So I believe this has to be read 3 times, so we can't pass it as an emergency. Any annexation is supposed to be read 3 times. This request was approved at the Planning Commission in January 2025, and the reason why this is May, I realize it, but we've been trying to get all the pieces together and all the parties approved. So when I talked to Marvin earlier today, and I have been in contact with the attorney Carrie that's working with the McClaves on this, that the township trustees approve this via an email. Usually they send a letter, but we did get an email that they sent to Carrie. That's a lawyer involved. Because it was an expedited type 2 annexation, and the property would remain subject to the township's real property taxes, Goshen Township trustees would agree to the annexation with this criteria. And I sent a copy of that to everybody. Did you have any comments on that, Marvin?
Did you want me to explain what I explained to you on the phone?
I'm sorry?
Did you want me to explain what I explained to you on the phone or to everybody?
Do you have any additional information? I think
Well, the critical aspect
go
is-
ahead.
Critical aspect is that we've done several of these. They retain the property taxes, which is not as important to the city because of the amount we get. Most of our property taxes go to the county. But we get the income taxes because they are now city residents, and that's critical to us. Additionally, it has no impact on the school property taxes because they're still in the city school district, so the school's still getting theirs. So it's kind of a fair trade-off.
Okay,
And it's
thank
an
you.
incentive for it's also an incentive for the townships to keep
Work
allowing
with us.
more land to come into the city.
Oh,
And it's income tax.
We get the income tax
yeah,
for
we get the
sure.
income tax.
That's really all, I mean, majority of our collections is.
You said that's standard what we typically do?
That's what we've been doing. You can do ones, but then it's usually a wind down, and you have to do a negotiated agreement with the county, and that would have been needed to be negotiated between the two parties. In that regard, as to how, if the city wants to have property taxes also. I'm not sure how much we get in property taxes, what we get in property taxes maybe.
Not enough.
We do pretty good. I think you'd have to ask Heather. I think we do pretty good.
You
Yeah,
don't,
$1,050,000
you don't wanna turn down property tax.
Well, then we should
That's
probably.
operating money.
Well, we should probably reject this then and go back to the drawing board and negotiate a wind down for that, if we want the property tax on that business. on that
Was
area.
that in the communication you got from the township, that was stated?
Yes, it was the email. I can forward you a
Yeah,
copy of that.
would you please?
I think I have it printed out.
Okay. Yeah,
Because frankly, I don't know really what they have to stand on. Once the commissioner's in it, that's the end of it. They can say that that's what they'd like, but at the end of the day, they really don't have anything to really stand upon as far as that goes.
He
You
was
know?
responding to Carrie's call after I called Carrie and asked her.
okay.
Because at the end of the day, we talk about income tax, and if they live in Canton, we're not getting no income tax off them.
If they work in camp.
Or if they work in Canton, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we would, because they're residents. If you're a resident, you pay income tax.
No.
Not
I
if
thought
you're
you did.
retired, you don't.
No, we have reciprocity,
No, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
You don't wanna give up that property tax.
Pay it where they work.
Well, that's something we need to research then and look at, because we might want to reject it if that's the basis.
Yeah, I think you need to.
Part of the property tax goes to police and fire pension.
All right.
But I still go back on the fact that they can scratch and claw at that level, but at the end of the day, once the county commissioners, you know, I think what they're doing is saying, no, we don't because of that, trying to hold on to everything they can. But at the end of the day, once commissioners do that, that's here nor there what they say.
You might be right, I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you look into
You might
it.
be right,
very
I'm
good.
not sure. I just know in the past, the ones that I've seen in the past where there was a wind down of where and honestly, I only saw this in one, when they tried to, when my predecessor tried to do a negotiation on the towing company out there in Goshen Township. I can't think of the name of it. And that had a specific wind down on that for property taxes, where they'd get a portion of it and it'd wind down to us, and that's what had to be agreed to.
What's the years on that, Mary, did it say, or you read it far enough?
The years?
Yeah, but he said there's a wind down, is it?
No, that was.
No, I said, that's what I've seen in the
I think
past.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
When we tried to do on,
I think you need to table this then, Cheryl. That would be my-
Okay.
I mean, it's up to this committee, I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want, I'd like you to look into it,
I'll
but I'm not
look
on
into
the committee, but,
You're on council.
yeah, I'm just asking questions.
I haven't got to him yet, but I will. So, that, you know how hesitant I was when I talked to you
Yeah.
this morning, I was like, okay.
and honestly, I was under the impression we didn't get that much in the way of property tax.
No,
I didn't think
You
we did.
never wanna say no.
We do fairly well because that year
Yeah.
there was like 4 or 5 years when everything went up 25%.
Yeah.
I remember the jump that I had, the brown herd moved pretty good on that year that everything raised, so. No, I know we don't do as well as, I mean, if you look at.
County and the schools,
You look at
yeah.
the pie chart, but, I mean, enough that it does matter.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
No, I'm ready. I'm happy to look into it.
Okay,
It's not
Thank you.
something that I've been asked about or that I've seen before, actually.
yeah.
Let me just say, this was the annexation itself was approved in January 2025. So that's, I've been kind of sitting on this, although you had the ordinance to me quickly. Because looking at our expedited annexation process, expedited in quotes, because this isn't fast, but we were waiting for all the pieces, because we had to get all the pieces. And one of the pieces is the township trustees have to agree to it, because it's from the township. So that's the email. And then when I called Carrie the attorney last Tuesday and said, you know, I'm gonna have this meeting, it's supposed to be Monday, 7 o'clock. But I haven't heard anything from the township trustees. Have you?
No.
And she said no. They were aware of it and had been discussing it, but they hadn't had a meeting yet, is what she told me last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then this email came through today. So that's why we're where we are now.
And honestly, that was the first time I'd seen that, so I thought that's just the way it was. I didn't think it was that
I think
big
it
of a
goes
deal.
back to what I said earlier. The Township can bark, but they have no bite.
And I'll find out for sure.
Yeah.
I,
if you would.
I think you may be right, what you're saying, that once the county approves it, it's a
Yeah.
done deal.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
then
Mark.
we're
Thank
just a
you, Mark.
formality. I'll be happy to,
We'll
sure.
talk about it Thursday if you find
Yeah.
something out for
That'll
that.
work.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah, and the county did approve it.
Yep.
right.
So, I was always under the impression when I've done these before that we got the property tax too, when they were annexed in.
We need that.
So, okay, so, the administration, Chris,
I kind of.
you want to look into this?
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't want to give it to them forever, if you don't have to. Even if it has to be the wind down, I don't know what it
Yeah.
needs to be, but you don't want to give anybody anything forever. We're not gonna always be sitting here forever, but someone's gonna be here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that there has to be a wind down. I need to find that out too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much right they have to stop the annexation. If the property owners agree to it and the county agrees to it.
I think,
I'm
like-
not sure what happens there.
Not much.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think the county's the fly in the ointment, I think, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
even ours is more or less, signing off on what the county agreed to.
Right. But yeah, see what you find out, we can talk about Thursday,
Yep.
then you can share that with Cheryl and the committee.
I might write a report and just share it with the whole council.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
yeah,
curious.
I'm curious.
yeah. Your
I'm
opinion,
always curious.
yeah, yep, I agree.
Any, questions from the public? And the rest of council, I immediately called on Chris, but anybody else?
So we have two resolutions, but they're both pertaining to the same.
Correct. So the first one is okay,
Is
that's a
fine.
municipal services.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine. The one to actually take the property, or not take, but to,
Annex it.
The
Annex the
question
property,
is, where
that's the
does the
difference.
property tax
Okay.
go?
out there.
So we're gonna, so I'm gonna ask the committee, would it be okay to put that on, to table that for now, put it on
Table,
hold?
right, you're gonna table it.
Okay. Do you wanna
Right,
put
Dan?
that in a
That's
motion?
what
I'll put it in.
I'll second that.
Okay, vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I vote yes.
Yeah, and I think to Councilman Sears's point, it would have been okay if that caveat wasn't in there that said about that property tax.
Sure.
If not, it would have been, let's pass it to, well, third reading, finally pass it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm hesitant, okay, maybe I'm old school here. If it's a forwarded email, and we don't have anything in writing,
On
a
letterhead.
letter with the signature of all three trustees.
Right.
You know, we've agreed
And-
over the phone to do this.
Yeah.
That's
Makes
a
me
really good
very
point. We don't
nervous.
have a formal resolution from them
No.
agreeing to it or saying we.
Yeah, we
retain-
don't have that.
We retain the property tax. I don't know that an email stands
And-
up in court.
And also, if it, you know, if it's an expedited annexation with the revenue sharing language, that should be in our resolution.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
So that it's documented,
And nobody's approached me about revenue sharing
yeah.
with them.
No, the only thing we have in our resolution is to annex, and it's residential R2. So we don't have any of that information in our.
Right,
Yeah, well, this is the first time we saw it.
yeah.
Okay.
Can I add that city services, if they're not annexed in, they're twice the rate is what it would be if they are annexed in, so you may not wanna wait too long if they're paying twice the rate that they.
No, they're gonna pass that piece tonight,
For the city
for the
services,
services.
inside rates?
Yes.
Inside city rates?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Well, yeah,
I
you
see
can't-
what you're saying.
No,
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah,
can't
they're
change
not-
that.
they're not-
They're,
we can't.
they're not
I see what you're
annexed,
saying.
it
They'll have
can't
to
be
keep paying
inside.
twice the rate until
Yep.
that's done.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Heather, I was
Well,
off somewhere else.
Well,
if everything goes right, you can suspend the rules and pass this on the 29th.
Yep.
Yes.
So they'd just be a month.
Well, Cheryl's saying,
yeah, as soon as he lets me know, it's my understanding that annexations have to go 3 readings, right?
I know,
I don't think we
zoning
can-
changes do, but I don't know, that's another Marvin question.
I don't know, why would we need to wait for you to bring it?
It's
piece in
on
this
here.
If it's in
Recognize
those, I'd
that?
have
Is
to
it?
look at that.
Okay, so we will hold this, resolution 1/2025 to annex into the city, the parcel, owned by the McClaves. And, so I will wait to hear from Marvin what's going on, or somebody, and we'll take it up another time.
Thanks for the time you put in that, Cheryl, and catching that stuff.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
This meeting of Philadelphia City Council will now come to order. Would you please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Mr. Ribbit.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would you join me in prayer? Heavenly Father, we just come before you now grateful for this wonderful city in which we live. And we just pray your blessing to continue to flow upon us. Watch over us and keep us, Lord, from all harm. Lord, we pray for your intervention in anything that we are struggling to overcome, and that we put our trust and faith in you, Lord. We ask for your wisdom, your guidance in all that we do here tonight. May you just be pleased with the work of this committee. It's in Jesus' name we pray this. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, and welcome to our May 12th City Council meeting. We'll start off with roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Here.
Mr. Lanzer.
Here.
Mrs. Ramos.
Here.
Mr. Rippett.
Present.
Mr. Sears.
Here.
Mr. Simmeling.
Here.
Mr. Walker.
Let it be known that Mr. Walker has been excused from tonight's council meeting. All right, everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda for tonight. Do we have any additions? Mr. Lanzer?
Yes, Mr. President, if I could, I'd like to add proposed resolution 10, 11, and 12 to tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Rippett. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simmeling.
Yes.
All right. Do we have any other additions to this evening? Yes, Mrs. Ramos.
I would like to add resolution 13, 2025 to
Do I have a
tonight's agenda.
second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Simlick. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Simmeling.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
All right, are there any other additions to tonight's agenda? All right, hearing none, accept a motion to accept the agenda with the additions for tonight.
Also,
I'll make the motion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cranberry. Mr. Simlick, a second. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Simmeling.
yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
All right, agenda has been approved. Minutes, everybody's had a chance to look at our minutes from our last council meeting. They were quite long, but everybody had a chance to read through all those. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve. Nobody, okay, thank you, Mr. Simlick. Nobody wants to approve the minutes. Need a second, thank you, Mr. Lanzer. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Simmeling.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
All right, thank you, minutes have been approved. Correspondence, Ms. Courtwright.
To council and administration from Executive Administrative Assistant to the Mayor, Jamie Bailey, dated May 1st, 2025. This is the mayor's month-end report for April of 2025. To council and administration from Income Tax Administrator for the city, Carly Luce, dated May 2nd, 2025. This is the April month-end report for the Income Tax Department. To Carrie Metzger with Empower Tusk from Mayor Day, dated May 7th, 2025. This is an email titled Letter Appointing Empower Tusk Ad Hoc Member to the DORA Board, April 29th, 2025. The email was replied to by D. Grossman and Carrie Metzger. To council and administration from Assistant to the Auditor Danielle DiMatteo, dated May 8th, 2025. This is the expense report with encumbrance details, statement of cash position with month-to-date totals, and detailed trial balance for April of 2025. To council clerk from Treasurer Gerber, dated May 9th, 2025. This is the investment and savings report for April of 2025. I forwarded the report to council and administration. To council and administration from Assistant to the Service Director, Jonalee Furnett, dated May 12th, 2025. These are two emails one titled Parcel Map for Resolution 12, 2025, and one titled Tuscarora Park Pavilion Number 6 Project. And to council and administration from Mayor Day dated May 12, 2025, the mayor's report. And that concludes correspondence for this evening, Mr.
All
President.
right, thank you, Ms. Courtwright. Moving to our administrative reports. As always, first up, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members, fellow administrators, and guests. Three things I'd like to touch on from the report I sent you earlier. The redesign of 3 of the 4 downtown quadrants is 75% complete. Designing Local, the Columbus firm creating the redesign, should have that phase of the project completed within a month. The final design will then be made public and the project put out to bid. The timeline has the start of construction coming in late July or early August. The quadrants being redesigned are the gazebo, the Gavins, and the House of Stone quadrants. The project is being funded by the Governor's Appalachian Community Grant Program. The city is accepting applications for seasonal lifeguards to work at the Tuscarora Park Pool. The deadline to apply is May 23rd. And the certification course is scheduled for anyone who is currently not certified. If you're interested, contact Lacey McCain, who is the city's Director of Human Resources, and her contact info can be found on the city website. High school seniors in New Philadelphia are spending their final days in the classroom. Over the next 2 weeks, Buckeye Career Center, New Philadelphia City Schools, and Tuscarawas Central Catholic will have their graduation and award ceremonies. On behalf of council and the entire city, I want to wish the graduates all the best in the future and in their future endeavors. Hopefully, some will choose to continue their education and live and work here in New Philadelphia and Tuscarawas County. As you've learned growing up here, graduates, this is a great community for starting and raising a family. But if you choose to leave, remember to come back home as often as possible. That concludes my report, Mr. President. Any questions?
Any questions for the mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, I saw where the Men's Warehouse was closing. Are they?
Modern menswear?
Modern menswear, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are they moving elsewhere in the city?
No, he's actually gonna, put a new business in there. Until I confirm what I've heard, I'm not gonna say publicly, but there's gonna be a new business in there.
I read the notes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Any other questions for the mayor?
thank you.
Thank you.
I had a question on the quadrants.
Yes,
One person told me, I don't know what they had marked out, but they thought that the truck's turns where you come around, they weren't gonna be as wide as they are now. And they had concerns about truck traffic, you know, making the turns.
We scrapped that idea. That was on the original set, back at the 20% range.
Okay.
We did a.
drone.
Get the drone, thank you, Mayor. Did the drone up, had a truck with a trailer and everything. And it was, you know, they're, and if you look at them, they're all kind of different. So I think they had that feeling even back when they first did it.
Okay.
To do something like that, because they're all got different radiuses. So, but it will not, that's that pink line that everybody sees out through there. It will not, they're staying exactly basically where they are right now.
Okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, move on to Service Director, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Real quick, I know at the last meeting, after talking with the city paver, I had said all they was gonna do was go over and do North Avenue after that water line project and then go over to Tuscarora. They did stick around before he went and started his regular routine. So they went over to Kelly Street, if you remember, we did from Wabash, Wabash to Bowers. So that got grinded and paved in last week. Oak Street from Grandview to Cary, they also did. And then they also did Rankin Court down on the south side, from Fifth Street to that end of the cul-de-sac. Now, they are out now, and they'll be back after talking with Newton's end of June, early July. And if it comes in early July, I said we'll wait after first town days like we always do. So depends on if he's third week of June or it'll be after July 4th weekend because of those first town days. So I just wanted to make that clear that it was their first thing, and he's like, hey, I don't wanna pick up and leave, can I stay here for, they're like, absolutely, why would we not? So, anyways, just wanna make that, make everybody aware of that. Last week, the new water line project we have going on here on, Second Street Northeast, just that little bit from Fair to High. We have a 2-inch line in there, we're going to 6-inch. They cut it last week. Kinsey Excavating out of New Philly is doing the project for us. We need that, 2 reasons. It's just not because Jack's House Hope needs a 6-inch water line for fire protection, but like every 2-inch you hear me talk about, you open that ditch up, you look at it, it starts leaking. So it needed upgraded. This just may have moved it up our list a little bit because of that. So that'll be done here in the next, they should come in, they may come in at the end of the week, but if not, for sure next week. And I will update everybody at the next council meeting on that, if they do come in. But Kinsey Excavating did cut it, and we will start on that here, like I say. So you'll see hydrants now, so they have fire protection through that area, and just progress that down through. We know we did the block before last year, so we'll just keep coming down that way to get rid of some of that old 2-inch galvanized line. Also, Wednesday morning at 10, we have a Zoom meeting with the contractor for Franklin Square. I know that Mr. Walker, Councilman Walker and I had talked, and everybody that's been up through there, especially if you look on that east side of 4th Street, when you come off of Front, how it's got that water sitting there. We've been talking about that with the contractor. I think the last I looked, there's like 18,000 left on the grant. So we're gonna work with them and try to see if, put a catch basin there and possibly on each side of Allen Lane, if everybody knows where Allen Lane is there, to try to catch all that water. We definitely gotta pick it up at that low spot there, right there on that east side. That's bad. And they also have to address on 4th Drive, between Front Avenue Southwest and Bank Lane. There was a nice washout there. We redid that alley. And then the rain came, and it's got a good ditch in those front yards. So we're gonna have to stabilize that and redo all that. So we'll go over all that in the Zoom meeting on Wednesday, try to iron that out. And I'll report back on that at our next meeting. That's the end of my report.
All right, any questions for Mr. McAbeer? Yes, Mr. Ramos.
Mr. McAbeer, are you, filling potholes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just Jordan Drive, northwest.
Okay, I'll put it
It's
down.
really holy. Not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Tuscarora Avenue's nice.
Yeah, right, Tuscarora turned out real nice, it did. He wanted to get in there too because of First Town Days
But I was
too,
gonna
that's
say,
why I
go to the
stayed.
park, that's really nice now.
Yeah,
Broadway.
yeah.
Any other question, Mr.
Oh, sorry,
Eckert?
Brian.
Mr. Sears?
Does the city crews, the road crews do the pothole patching, or is that something that
Yeah, general services.
general services does?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if you ever have one, shoot me an email or just text me, Brian.
Okay.
Same way as Sherry, you can just text me or email me. Yep.
All right, thank you, Mr. McAbeer.
There's one in front of Tim Alter's house.
Oh, we're doing Lakeview.
Oh, good.
I should have said that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, let me talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
That's a water ditch, so the water department's digging it out. We'll patch it, and then we're also gonna patch all of Lakeview, up Landfair, and then everything up top.
Oh,
So we'll do that whole area, hopefully this week yet.
great,
Yep,
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, now we'll move on to the safety director, Mr. Milligan.
Sorry, Kevin.
Stealing all my time. Mr. President, Council, Administrative colleagues and guests, thank you. Start off with an April report from the fire department. 321 calls for service, 173 of those EMS, 110 fire-related, and 22 what I'll call hazardous conditions, hazmat-related or potential lines down through storms damage and things like that. As we continue to grow our fireworks implementation software system, I look forward to getting more details of our call volumes and how they relate geographically in the city and in nature. So the other thing we'll begin to monitor, I'm working with the chief and Tuscarawas County 911 Center, is we're also looking at not only our actual call volume, but we're getting to assess how many calls for service that we're unable to respond to. So that's a critical part as we look at staffing moving forward, is how many calls for service are we missing that may be answered by either Dover or Smith Ambulance from that perception. So I look forward to presenting that data in the future as we get a better understanding of what that percentage and what that picture looks like. As I mentioned, fireworks implementation is officially implemented. It is now for EMS fire, and all of our inspections reporting is going in there. So once again, will give us a much more accurate picture of data that we can use to make operational decisions moving forward. For those you may have seen, not only the fire department, but the police department up on 3rd Street Northwest, they were able to utilize a home that's gonna be tore down. Anytime we can get properties like that where our men and women can go and train, do a live exercise is certainly a blessing to us as the citizens, as they can get live training in action. So we appreciated that opportunity. All 3 shifts from the fire department and the SRT team have utilized that, and they're grateful for that opportunity to be able to train in that setting. ISO's inspection, as I mentioned last time, was completed, so we're patiently awaiting the results. Got good feedback from Chief Parrish in his conversations with the ISO inspector, so I'm expecting good things, and we'll keep our fingers crossed on those findings. For the New Philadelphia Police Department, 1,351 calls for service in April. You do that out, it's about 45 per shift, so it's staying steady right about that pace. Staffing from their perspective, 2 open positions. We're currently going through the process of backgrounds and completing that to potentially fill those positions. I know it's certain some Chief Bahobi, and speaking with the officers on the road, they'll be well welcomed to get those positions filled to help with their service calls. We had 3 officers, and I'm going to apologize, I will report back on their names, but completed OPATA instructor training. I think that's something that's very important. I think a value that is underestimated sometimes, having instructors on our staff, and we have them at the fire department also. They can do they put on training for our people internally. It's not a cost savings, but having that expertise within our city is very important. So I'm very appreciative of those 3 officers that completed, and I certainly will get their names so we can recognize them. Our canines, Cooper and Pablo, along with their officer handlers, Officer Geis and Lambert, participated in a live training exercise and an exercise in Stark County with 7 other departments, where they did a sweep of the Stark County Jail looking for contraband. I just want to take a moment, for everybody to appreciate having canine units in our city is an awesome thing. They're very valuable, not only fighting the war on drugs, but officer safety in our community. So the more work we can get them to keep them performing at their top of their license is important. So having them as a resource is obviously a blessing to the city. And I want to thank Officer Geis and Officer Lambert for taking that task on, because being a canine handler is more than what you see out on the road. Obviously, they're taking care of those dogs 24/7, and I appreciate their efforts for that. Along those lines, we did receive a grant from the Reeves Foundations for $1,500, along with a donation of $3,000 from the VFW to upgrading and do 1 outdoor kennel for our canine units. So we're appreciative to the Reeves and the VFW for supporting our cause there with our canine units, and we look forward to doing those upgrade and constructing. They're about $4,500 a piece. I know we're looking to do 2, so we have 1 paid for, and we appreciate that support for that. I also talked to Chief Bahovi today. We received a grant from the Ohio Department of Public Safety for $23,800, which will actually pay for 2 years worth of storage of our video from our body cameras. So those familiar, our officers are equipped with body cameras for their safety and the safety of our citizens. So that evidence that gets recorded is obviously retained, and so receiving that grant allows us to pay for that storage for 2 years, and that covers 100% of the cost. So I want to thank Captain Rossi, who worked on that project to obtain that loan and provide that service to the city. And that's the end of my report. I'll entertain any questions.
Question, what's the ISO, what do they look at when they come into the city?
So they look at everything from water supply to operations to staffing, our standard operating procedures, response to calls, manpower on calls. So it's a wide variety of the total picture of our fire department's operation and our city's capacity to support their operations.
Which in turn helps us with our protection class rating, correct?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we are a class 2, 118, there's only 118 fire departments in the state of Ohio that's a class 2, so that's something to be very proud of, that Chief Parrish and this council who supports his efforts to do that. There's only 9 class 1s, I know that's his goal, but it does have an impact on our insurance rates for our businesses and our homeowners, and we're working diligently to try to get it a class 1. It's a challenge to do that. It requires some significant investments, so we look forward to seeing what that gap looks like and see how far away from that. But if you go back to 2000, don't hold me to this number, 8, maybe 10, we were, I think, a class 8. So we went from a class, I think, 8 down to a class 2, so there's been a lot of work done there. Hopefully, that goes recognized here in the city.
Also, I'd like to thank the police and the fire and our city workers on the storm we had on the 29th, I think. It was great to see all the people out there working to get all that stuff cleaned up here in the city from that storm we had to come through, so.
Well, certainly had a response. Ronnie and his crew and the
Yes.
safety services did a great job
Definitely.
of doing that. So as I mentioned in my meetings with the safety forces, they are committed to serving this community. They're proud to serve this community, and I look forward to working with them and retaining them in our organization.
I think you've done a great job, so thank
Any
you for
questions?
all that. Any other question? Yes, Mrs. Ramos.
For the body cam storage, that's secured in a secure facility?
In the IT infamous cloud somewhere, yes.
Oh,
Digitally
okay.
secured in a secured facility, so it's limited access and obviously controlled.
Hacker-proof?
Boy, I dare to say anything's hacker-proof, but it's certainly designed to be hacker-proof.
There's no such thing.
Okay. Thank
That's the
you.
Pentagon.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Mr. Milligan. Move on to auditor, Mrs. Denham.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a quick report tonight. I just want to let you know we're still going through with the financial statements, getting all of that prepared, and the annual audit. And I apologize, I should have mentioned the last time that Ray was in office, and we'll be visiting other offices. They were in a couple of weeks ago, and they will be in next week. And they'll probably be visiting various offices and perhaps contacting you for information, so, and that's all I have for tonight.
All right, any questions for Mrs. Denham? Thank you. Treasurer, Mr. Gerber.
I submitted the monthly report to the clerk of council. She in turn supplied that to each one of you. So far, well, this month we had a investment gain of $19,699.07, and that continues to do so. Thank you.
Any question for Mr. Gerber? All right, move on, Law Director, Mr. Bates.
Thank you. I apologize, I wasn't here for the 6 o'clock meeting. I found out last night I had a mandatory parents meeting for 6th grade soccer that I had to attend at the high school. I know our parents in the room understand that. I did want to address a couple of things on proposed ordinance 9/2025. I'm going to be making the changes that the committee recommended, which is doubling the fines, which I think is great, and which Captain Schultz is completely on board with. One of the things that Captain Schultz and I discussed was, and this will come up again in committee, I'm just going to give you a preview, was making the fines discretionary. So that if somebody is working with the fire department, it's not mandatory. As it reads now, it currently says, a graduated fee shall be imposed. Shall means that's mandatory. What I would like to say, shall be imposed at the discretion of the fire inspector as follows. And then that way, we would have more discretion, so that if somebody is working to resolve the problem, we don't come down with them with a hammer. This is for those who aren't working, and we've been there 13, 14, 15 times. That's really who this is aimed at, and it's aimed at being a deterrence. So there's a lot of money that goes into that. We've got to bring people in for overtime because of mandatory minimum man hours, and it's just not a good thing when that's happening. So I just wanted to address that since I wasn't able to address it at 6 o'clock, and to clarify that. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Yes, Mr. Sears.
When we were talking, Mr. Milligan made a comment that he had some ideas on also how to address that. I think he was talking with the fire inspector, just some ideas other than financial.
Well,
way
there
that
are,
we laid out.
yeah, I've been discussing other ideas too. One of the things that I'm looking at is whether or not we can bring a nuisance action. If you have so many crimes occur at a particular location, or there's various things that can cause a nuisance action, we can bring a nuisance action and potentially force a court to shut the place down as a worst-case scenario. So there are multiple options as to what we can do, and the discretionary one, this is just one tool for how to handle that. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm looking at other things too, like a nuisance action as a potential thing. Because, you know, some of these people, if it's owned by somebody that lives in California and it's just a write-off to keep paying that and it's less than fixing the problem, then, you know, then we would want a more heavier hand, like a nuisance action, to be able to bring that to fruition. Anyone else?
All right, thank you, Mr. Bates. All right, we move on to our board commission reports. Planning Commission, Mr. Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Planning Commission will be meeting on Tuesday, tomorrow, at 1 PM here in council chambers. We'll be continuing our discussion on some changes that need to be made in the zoning code.
All right, thank you. Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. With, no variance request to be heard, there will be no, meeting held tomorrow. I'd just like to add on that, for you that's been around a while, usually we was about 9 or 10, typically a year. I think the changes that, were brought forward with the zoning code has obviously cut that. And we addressed a lot of that stuff that was, coming to Board of Zoning Appeals, because I couldn't tell you the last one that we sat through, so it's been at least 6, 7 months since that it's all had come through. You know, we've changed some stuff on some signage that, needed some things, but everything that's been tweaked, has been, friendly as far as some certain things on businesses and different, so, I believe that's why. And there's some obviously, as you can see with the Board of Zoning Appeals, again, I don't know the last one that, I'd have to look back. It's been a minute, so I just wanted to add that.
All right, that's a good thing.
That's right.
Airport Commission, Mr. Lonzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Airport Commission will be meeting tomorrow evening, 6 PM at the Harry Cleaver Airport Meeting Room.
All right. Park Board, Mr. Sears.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Park Board meets May 21st at noon.
All right. Health Board, Mr. Simmelink.
Health Board normally scheduled for Wednesday at noon in this room. It's been moved to Thursday this week, at noon in this room.
All right. Move on to council committee reports. First up, Finance, Mr. Rippeth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report, but I would like to schedule a meeting of the Finance Committee prior to our next city council meeting, maybe at 7 o'clock there on the 29th. We will be talking about ordinance 10, 2025 for some reappropriations and any other business that might come before the committee.
All right, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Rippeth. Public Works and Economic Development, Mr. Lonzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Public Works and Economic Development met this evening at 6:45. We had three, pretty much housekeeping, resolutions that we discussed. It was pretty short conversations, and proposed resolution 10, 11, and 12. We all voted unanimously to be put on tonight's agenda, and we're asking for suspension of the rules so we can get these resolutions passed tonight.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lonzer. Safety, Health, and Service, Mr. Simmelink.
No reports.
All right. Zoning and Annexation, Mrs. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Zoning and Annexation Committee met tonight, and we did approve Resolution 13, 2025 to go on to the agenda for tonight. And after much discussion, we tabled Resolution 1, 2025, which was annexation of the Clave property, and we will be getting more information on that. Take it up later.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Ramos. Salary, Mr. Cranbill.
No report this evening, Mr. President.
All right. Cemetery, Mr. Sears.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Cemetery Board met here in council chambers on May 8th. Just a couple things, as I'm sure everybody's aware, with the rain, the grass is growing and the weeds are growing. So right now, they're trying to keep up as best they can with trimming and weeding and such. I know Kelly is eagerly awaiting some summer help to start, take care of some of that stuff. And then also regarding the grounds, there's several trees with all the storms and such that we've had. There's several trees they have of concern that need to come down. The unique challenge of where it's at, they can't just, let the chainsaws, run and let them fall where they lie. So it's a little more complicated, but that is something Kelly is working on to have somebody take a look at. And then the other project they have going on right now, the monument project, the headstone, the big stone that the VFW donated, they're still working to, I believe the deadline is Veterans Day?
Correct.
Mayor, is that correct? They're
Correct.
trying to get that done by, so they're in the planning stages. They have a nice plan laid out. Just trying to find a way to implement. So that's the end of my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sears. All right, we'll move on to visitors' comments. The floor is now open for visitors' comments. Somebody wants to talk to me or something. Apologize for that. Anyone wishing to address council should rise, state their name and address, and address all comments to the council chair. Anyone wishing to address council tonight? All right, seeing none, council comments. Anyone in council that wishes to make any comments tonight?
I could have said something during the park board chairman,
Yes.
our park committee. My granddaughter, every year, 4 kids go to prom, they go some picturesque place. And when I was in Zor working, with tons of them up there, well, my granddaughter and her friends selected the South Side Park. And we were all down there, she's in Dover, went down there, and there were a lot of people there. I mean, she wasn't the only one, there were probably 100 people walking around down there. Park was in nice shape, everybody remarked how beautiful it was. A lot of people had never been there before. Kids, the girls looked great in the surroundings, and congratulations on making that look great. The kids really appreciate it.
I think that gets a lot more use than we realized down at
Probably.
the South Side Park.
It does.
The grandparents like it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, anyone else in council? We'll move on to our legislative agenda. Ms. Courtwright.
Resolution number 6, 2025, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Tuscarawas County, Ohio, authorizing and directing the mayor to dispose of the 1949 American LaFrance fire engine pursuant to ordinance 721.15C and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council on this tonight?
What do I have to do? I have to move, do we vote on that?
Well, you want
And
to
pass on the first reading?
Yes, you want to suspend the rules?
Suspend the
I want
rules.
to suspend the rules.
Do I have a second for that?
I'll second
All right, in discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Simulink.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbauer.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippeth.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
All right, the rules have been suspended. Now, you want to pass 6/2025?
I do.
Do I have a second? All right, thank you, Mr. Kreinbill. In discussion by community, administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Simulink.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbauer.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippeth.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
All right, resolution 6/2025 has passed.
Resolution number 10, 2025, a resolution authorizing Ohio Regional Development Corporation to perform administrative services for the project year 2025 Community Housing Impact and Preservation CHIP program, and authorizing ORDC to submit an application to the project year 2025 CHIP on behalf of the city of New Philadelphia and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this resolution tonight? Hearing none, do we help for next?
Resolution
wait.
11?
He
10.
raised his hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Lanzer.
Yes, I move that we suspend the rules on resolution 10.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Rippeth. Any discussion by administration, council, roll call?
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, the rules have been suspended. Yes, Mr. Alonso.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that we pass Resolution 10, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ripple. Any comments by community, administration, council, roll call?
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, resolution 10, 2025 has passed.
Resolution number 11, 2025, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Tuscarawas County, Ohio, authorizing the mayor to apply for financial assistance under the NatureWorks grant program and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this resolution? Yes, Mr. Alonso.
Yes, Mr. President, I ask that we suspend the rules on Resolution 11, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Yes, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ripple. Any discussion by administration, council, roll call?
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, rules have been suspended. Yes, Mr. Alonso.
Yes, Mr. President, I ask that we pass Resolution 11, 2025.
Do I have a
I
second?
would second that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ripple. Any discussion by community, administration, council, roll call?
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, resolution 11, 2025 has passed.
Resolution number 12, 2025, a resolution by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Tuscarawas County, Ohio, accepting a real property donation as further described herein and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Yes, Mr. Alonso.
Yes, Mr. President, I ask that we suspend the rules on Resolution 12, 2025.
Do I have a second? Mr.
Second.
Ripper, thank you. In discussion by administration, council, roll call?
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, rules has been suspended. Mr. Alonso.
Yes, Mr. President, I ask that we pass Resolution 12, 2025
Do I
tonight.
have a second? Thank you, Mr. Ripper. All right, in discussion by community, administration, council, roll call?
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, resolution 12, 2025 has passed.
Resolution number 13, 2025, a resolution indicating what services the city of New Philadelphia will provide to parcel number 25-00174.000, located in Goshen Township, Tuscarawas County, Ohio, upon annexation into the city of New Philadelphia. First reading.
Is there any action to be taken by council on this resolution tonight? Yes, Mrs. Ramos.
I move that we suspend the rules on Resolution 13, 2025.
Do I have a second? Mr. Sears, thank you. In discussion by administration, council, roll call?
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, rules have been suspended. Now, Mrs. Ramos.
I make a motion that we pass Resolution 13, 2025.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Sears. In discussion by community, administration, council, roll call?
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
All right, resolution 13, 2025 has passed.
And that concludes legislation for this evening, Mr.
All right,
President.
thank you, Ms. Fortright. Is there any unfinished or old business for tonight? Any new business for tonight? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Lanzer, 8:09. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.